When you think of the word networking, how does it make you feel? Does it make you concerned because it's something that you really don't want to do? Have you ever thought that it might be wise to have a plan and to actually do some intentional networking? So today we're going to cover exactly that. So my name's Kate, I'm the founder of Educated STEM, and I'm going to continue talking about a book I spoke about in my last video called The Squiggly Career by Helen, Tupper and Sarah Ellis. And they have a chapter on networking, and it's an amazing chapter. It's one that covers a few things that I haven't seen a lot in other books, and so I'm going to take you through some of their ideas now. And so their first thing is that networking doesn't need to be icky. Okay, it's all about people helping people. And they break it down into thinking about networking in 3 different buckets. So the first is networking for your current role. So who are these people who can help you succeed in your current job? And so that might be people around you in your organization. It might be reaching out to someone who has the same job in a different organization, or maybe even in a different field, and learning how they do it. And you might be able to bring that back in order to improve what you're doing. The second bucket is your future role. And so who are these people who can help you explore career opportunities? So these might be people who are in your promotional kind of career path. It might be people that have completely different jobs in a completely different field who you just meet and find their job fascinating. It might be because you have read any of the various career books that are behind me lurking, and you just want to learn about all the different career paths available to you, whether it's in academia, higher education, somewhere over in industry or pharmaceutical company, or heck, not even STEM. It might be something in the business world. That is also a cool option. And so the third bucket is your personal development network. So these are the people who are going to help you learn, develop, and be your best. Now, obviously, these are 3 separate buckets. There's probably going to be different people in each bucket. There may be some overlap, but there might not be. And so you need to start building this network really as soon as possible. And you might want to focus right now on, becoming better at your current role. And you might want to set a goal of next year, we're going to start looking into future possibilities and other career paths. So I would say it would be challenging to focus on all 3 simultaneously. So as I'm talking, why don't you consider which one of these buckets deserves your attention now? And so if you're a postdoc and you're thinking, oh my gosh, my grant's going to be running out, I need to make money, I need a job, you might be focusing on bucket number 2, which is your future role network. And so you might be going out, to career events, you might go to conferences, you might go to associations, so maybe something like AWIS, the Association for Women in Science. You might be going to the National Postdoctoral Association annual meeting. You could be going to Abracams or SACNAS or whatever it is, and hopefully you have given it enough time to try and build this network. You don't need to leave and get a job like next month, because that is going to be very challenging. But you need to start trying to build the network, and it's not about the number of people you have connected to you on LinkedIn. Okay, whenever I speak at conferences and institutions, I will leave the stage, and that day, maybe the next day, I will have people asking to connect with me. And I have a little bit of a rule now where if I don't know who you are, if I can't speak intelligently about you, I won't connect with you, because it's doing you a disservice if someone reaches out to me and says, Kate, what do you know about Fred? And I don't even remember where I met Fred. That is not going to help Fred at all. And so, follow me, that's great. But a connection, we need to have had a conversation. We need to have had some kind of interaction where I would then feel comfortable if approached to talk on your behalf. So what I'm saying is this needs to be a meaningful relationship. This can't really be a one-off. We met at a conference, we literally had a cup of tea, and then we disappear again. This is maybe we're reaching out to each other. It doesn't need to be all the time, once every 6 months, maybe annually, depending on what you need. But I need to know a little bit about you. You need to know a little bit about me. And so also think about building a diverse network. And I've truly begun to appreciate the diversity of networks. A, since I started Educated STEM, but B, since I started volunteering. The people I volunteer with are not necessarily in academia. So before this, I was very academia, higher education, and then there were, some people in healthcare, there were some people over in finance, which is something to do with my husband's job, and then I've got, friends and family. But it was definitely siloed. And yes, there might have been an age range, but the people I tend to hang out with at conferences are definitely a similar age to me, similar career trajectories. So it can begin to look a little bit like an echo chamber, where we might all have very similar ideas. So it really helps you get a diverse perspective by encouraging the development of a network which has diverse ages, diverse career paths, diverse industries, because then, everybody is going to be giving you a slightly different perspective. You can then form a better idea, a better solution to something because you know more. And so don't just assume that because of someone's current job title that they're not going to be able to give you worthwhile advice. They might have a skill over here that they've developed through volunteering that you're completely unaware of. They might have done a completely different job 20 years ago, which may or may not have come up in conversation or is on their LinkedIn or whatever it is. So just don't assume that someone who's currently working, as a manager might not be able to give you advice on anything other than managing. Okay? Don't cut yourself off. This is going to be a fabulous network. And also don't assume that if you are a more senior person, that the junior individual that you are presumably helping won't be able to necessarily help you, because they might have ideas that are not currently limited to current ideology. They might have apps or newer ways of doing things which you are not familiar with. So it's going to go both ways, and they call this career karma. So build career karma. You help people and they will help you. But everybody of all different ages can absolutely help each other. I know a lot of the younger people that I've been helping recently have got some great ideas about using technology and AI, and that is, it's got me thinking. I haven't necessarily started using AI or anything else like that yet, but it's tickling, it's percolating right now. So you never know who's going to help you. And then obviously, if you're going to a meeting, you're going to a conference, you're going to a networking event, then that might lead to a little bit of social anxiety. But you can do some research ahead of time. Who do you think is going to be in the room? And I know some people have suggested you reach out to the organizer and ask them for advice. You could do that. I can say that I haven't done that before, but I've reached out to friends. Are you attending this meeting? Do you know anyone else who is going? If you're going to a conference, a lot of the time they have the list of attendees. You can literally go down the list and say, oh, yes, you wrote a really cool paper. I want to try and meet you. Or, for whatever reason, you would like to interact with someone. They have a cool job and you want to know more. And a lot of the time there might be a photo attached. So as you're walking around, you can kind of organically, oh, look, there's the chap I wanted to speak to. And you can go and try and make an organic introduction. And then when you meet them, let's be very clear about your expectations. So, you can say, oh, it's great to meet you. I have, just read your article or your blog, or I know that you have this role and I'd be, very interested in learning more about it. Or what are the challenges that you've had, whatever it is, so that they know what it is that you would like from them. A lot of the time you can have a great old conversation with someone, and then, as you're trying to disentangle yourself, they're like, oh, I just want this. And it's like, well, I have to spend however long talking to you. It would have been great knowing that at the beginning. So try and be upfront. It would be great if we could do this. Try and get a card from them so that you can reach out to them later, either on LinkedIn or an email. And then when you do reach out to them, make sure that you can tell them, again, I met you at this event. I had this fantastic conversation about this. I'd love to connect and learn more about whatever it is. I really like it if you've had a conversation about something and then later on you can say, oh, I saw this article, I thought you might find it interesting. And just, you can kind of keep like nudging the connection, so that, you're aware of them, they're aware of you. Again, building this meaningful network and relationship is really what it is. And so sometimes you might be just reaching out to people, you've seen something on LinkedIn, you're like, oh yes, I want to connect with them. And bearing in mind, LinkedIn, they only have very short messages that you can send, so you're not going to be writing an essay. But you can write a very short message about, I'd like to connect, I want to learn this from you, whatever it is. And then what happens if they don't respond? How long do you wait? Does that mean that they don't like you? Does that mean that the answer is no? Not necessarily. It could be that they're super busy. A lot of the time I will get a notification on my phone and I think, yes, must get back to that. And then if for whatever reason the notification disappears, then I will need to go looking for it the next time I'm either on my phone or my computer. It might have completely slipped my mind. So a polite little nudge a couple of weeks later, hi Kate, just checking up to see whether you can do this. And you're like, oh yes, I did mean to get back to you. So they might not have forgotten you, or they might have forgotten you. It might not be anything bad. But also if they just say, I'm terribly sorry, I'm just too busy right now, then be gracious about it. Let them know, I completely understand. I would love to connect with you when you're less busy. Or do you have someone else that you can suggest who might be able to assist me with whatever it is that you want to learn? So just be gracious. When it comes to joining conversations, it can be really challenging. And I'm open about the fact that I am an introvert, so talking to complete strangers, kind of joining a conversation, it can feel really uncomfortable. But this is something that you kind of get better at with practice. So I personally like just randomly trying to chat to people, like when you try and get food. So when you're getting a drink or getting the food, there's usually going to be someone behind you waiting. So you can just go like, hi, how's it going? Are you enjoying the conference or the meeting or the session or whatever it is? And a lot of the time, the conversation will just organically start, and then you can introduce yourself and, go from there. And a lot of the time, that could just be kind of the person that you're comfortable with for that little moment. If that doesn't happen and people are in kind of little clumps, I would look for the clumps that are an odd number, so 3, 5. Because usually that means 2 people might be talking, there might be an odd one out. So you might be able to kind of approach the odd one out and be like, hi, can I join you? I'm new here, or I've never been to this event before, or whatever it is. And then you can start talking to that individual. And that usually works pretty well. You can also go with someone that you're familiar with, and that can be a great help, but it also means that you both need to be good and attempt to talk to other people. You can't just stand in the corner and gossip with someone that you already know. So do try and go and meet people. And it can definitely help. My friend Mary Mitchell, who writes fabulous etiquette books, they are all behind me. She always advises people to go with a goal in mind. So if that is to meet 3 people, to get 3 people's business cards so that you can follow up with them later on. And usually by the time you have 3 people's information, you might be kind of enjoying yourself. You might be fine. You might want to stay. And then you're going to leave with 5, 10, whatever business cards. If it's absolutely painful and you've got your three connections, then you're good. You know, you've met your goal, you can leave for the day. So whatever it is that you need to do to kind of help you get through that networking. But definitely, I think approaching it as making new friends, building those relationships, it definitely doesn't make it quite as icky as I need to find someone who's going to help me, because that's very self-serving, and you know that isn't a great way to look at networking at all. And one of the other things to think about is networking may lead to short or long-term mentors. It might also lead to sponsors, and I have a video describing the difference between a mentor and a sponsor, so go and check that out. That will be coming up next. So just think about networking, think about doing it intentionally. I know sometimes I've just organically met people and they have become really key people to learn from, and they've kind of helped me wiggle my way through. But that was a chance encounter. So try and do this with some planning, some intentionality, and I think you're going to find this a lot easier. So again, intentional networking for 3 buckets: your current role, so the people who are going to help you succeed in your current job; your future role, so who are these people who are going to help you explore career opportunities. Usually, you know, you're going to be asking questions about them, so that is going to lead to an informational interview. So there's going to be another video on that coming soon. And then finally, personal development. So these are the people who are going to help you learn new skills and be your best. So which one are you going to focus on right now, and how are you going to do it? I would love to know. Let me know in the comments, and let me know if there's any help that I can be for you. So I hope this helped. As I said, the next video coming up is going to be all about learning the difference between a mentor and a sponsor and why you need both. And please like and subscribe to the channel, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.